Yes, Hamzambo familia. Welcome to the Swahili classes right here on the Blackwood Fan Network. I do hope that you're doing well, and I just hope that your weekend is coming along just fine. My name is Spikes, and today being on the 12th day of the month of January, the year 2025, I want to say once again, karibuni sana to our class where we get to learn together. And this is an interactive session where you can get to ask questions. You can get also to give your feedback. And even yesterday, we were live on here having a Swahili class yesterday around the same time. And it was a wonderful session yesterday. I do hope that you have had an interaction with the language before. And if not, I do hope that even if it's for your first time that you're getting to interact with this beautiful East African language, that your mind is open to learning. You know, the very most basic or the basic requirement for learning anything is just to have a willingness and also a thirst for knowledge. So if you do have a thirst to learn this beautiful East African language, then you are actually in the right place. And I would love to thank you for your company. In the next 2 hours, we shall be going through this particular lesson. And the purpose of this particular lesson, or the purpose of these particular Swahili classes, we do have some objectives, which include to help you as a learner understand and also learn and appreciate the Swahili language, and also to engage you as the learner in exploring different ways in which the Swahili language is developing, because we do know from an anthropological perspective that our language is not static, and culture also evolves. So as the culture is evolving, the language also keeps on evolving. And through this particular class, we shall be able to explore the different ways in which the Swahili language is also developing or evolving. Another objective for this Swahili class is to help you, the learner, to achieve basic communication skills using Swahili. Like I did say, you might be at a beginner level, you might be at an intermediate level, or you might be even at a pro level, whatever level you are at in your knowledge of Swahili. We just want to welcome you here, and we do hope that together we can learn. And the importance, or really what is the importance of learning a language? If you really want to reconnect with your roots, or if you really are exploring, the culture of the people on the continent, one of the ways, or one of the keys that you can use, I do believe one of the keys that you can use is language. If you're all at a place where you can be able to, you're touring a place, for example, back in 2019, the Blackwood Fan Network family was in Tanzania. I think also in 2020, was it 2019 or 2019 and 2020. With basic Swahili communication skills, you would be able to even go about maybe order for a taxi, go to the market and buy a few things, maybe even communicate on a day-to-day, on a day-to-day dialogue context. For example, saying hello to people, responding to the request and things like that, you would be able to catch on that and know what they are saying, and also be able to communicate back from these particular class. So welcome. In case it's your very first time, please let us know where you're streaming us live from. My name is Spikes, and I am actually live from Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, the beautiful East African country. So, like I did mention, another objective is to teach spoken Swahili language to beginners and also fine-tune skills for those that have might interacted with the language before. Yesterday, we did get to learn about the differences between Swahili and English, the differences between Swahili and English. And now we also learned about the communication styles or the communication styles and values in the Swahili language based on the Swahili culture. And we were saying that the Swahili language, in the context of the Swahili culture, the Swahili language is rather indirect. The way people do their communication, it's mostly indirect. You will find people really just beating around the bush before going to the point. They are very, very much indirect in the Swahili culture. But we have also realized that this language, it's the most spoken language on the continent, and it has over 150 million users. 150 million users on the continent. Sister Michelle, you're saying good morning. Good morning to you too. It's actually some few minutes to 7 p.m. right here in Nairobi. But I'm glad that you're with us, and I'm happy that your new year is starting up just wonderful. And I'm happy, I'm happy to also be back at it in Swahili. I never take the opportunity for granted. So let's carry on. I think Sister Michelle has been with us in, other previous sessions last year but one. And thank you for your consistency and also being part of the network. So I was saying that the language is spoken, widely spoken on the continent with over 150 million speakers. And therefore, if you do learn the language, it's preferable. It's preferable to other languages. Of course, we do have other languages on the continent. If you go to West Africa, you'll find the Ashanti people having a different language. Find the Fulani people, they have their own language. Go find the Igbo people in Nigeria, they have their own language, or the Yoruba people. All these languages are beautiful, but the reason we have chosen Swahili and as a focus, or as our main focus, it's because the language is also considered to be one of the easy languages to understand, and it's also growing at a very, very good rate. And it's a language that can unite our people around the continent, regardless of where you're coming from, whether be it you're from Ghana, whether be it you're from South Africa, you might be in Brazil, you might be in the US, you might be in Europe, all the African and Black diaspora anywhere around the world. This is a beautiful language that can be able to connect us and, bring us together, because that unity is strength, and together we are much stronger, as opposed to being divided as it did happen with, colonization, with slavery and other things that have continued to divide us as an African people, as a Black people around the world. So today, we shall touch on that. We shall repeat briefly what we learned yesterday, just to touch base. And we did say some of the main differences between Swahili and English is that Swahili has 5 vowel sounds. And yesterday, as I was giving my example, as I was sharing an example with us yesterday, I did say Swahili has 5 vowel sounds, and I put up my hand like this, and I did say, if you want to remember easily, it's just like 5 vowel sounds, like the fingers on your hand. So you do have A, E, O, O. Those are the 5 vowel sounds, and these are the English letters A, the English letters E, the English letter O, the English letter I, and the English letter U. Those are the 5 vowels in Swahili. And I was just sharing with us because yesterday, when we did start out, when we started out again yesterday, and these are the 5 vowels. And you can use your palm or you can use your hand just to get to remember those particular vowels, A, E, or U in Swahili. And we did see another difference between Swahili and, of course, I was saying that Swahili has 5 vowels, only 5 vowels, in contrast to English, which is 22 vowels. And English has 24 consonants, while Swahili has 28. Swahili has 28 consonants because of the special class of consonants. These are consonants that combine more than one consonant. For example, D and H, C and H, these are just special class of consonants. C and H, D and H, G and H, S and H, S and H, T and H, T and H, Those are some other special class of consonants. In case you're wondering why does Swahili has more consonants than English, it's because we do have those special class of consonants that I've given an example of CH. CH is used in the example of the word chakula, and you do say C and H. These are two consonants at the start, and they are together. So that is, for example, for food, with a special class of consonants. For DH, I gave an example of dhahabu. Dhahabu is basically just gold. If you're talking about gold, gold, we do say dhahabu. Dhahabu for gold. And if you're talking about money, you can say pesa, P-E-S-A for money. Or you can use the word feather. Feather is also used to mean money. Feather, which has a special class of consonant. And in feather, you realize it has a DH. This DH, F-E-D-H. This DH is also words that have a special class of consonants. And most of these particular words is special class of consonants. These are words that have an Arabic influence. There was the intermarrying of the Bantu people on the East African coast of places such as Lamu and Mombasa and Malindi and Kilifi and other different places on the East African coast, and the Arabs, that came to trade. And because of these intermarriages, there was, new words being born out of, in the Swahili language. And therefore, because of these intermarriages of the Arabic culture and the Bantu culture of the East African coast, the people of the East African coast, we did have them introducing these words with Arabic influences. And most of these are the words that have the CH, the DH, the TH. For example, the word TH, you might have it in the example of the Latini. The Latini simply means 80. It means 80. 80. Sorry, 30. 30. Sorry, 30. 30. That is not to be confused with the manini. The manini means the manini. Actually, the manini just simply means 80. I almost got that confused. I almost got that 80. Sorry, it's 18. But yesterday we also learned about the basic, the common words in the basic family unit. The common words in the basic family unit, and we did say that for the people of the basic family unit, the people in the basic family unit, the words are very, very simple. If you're talking about your mother, you do say mama for mom. If you're talking about your brother, you do say kaka for brother. If you're talking about sister, you do say dada for sister. That is for sister. And if you're talking about father, you do say baba for father. And therefore, these are two-syllable words. These are very, very simple to remember. The members of the basic family unit. You might talk about mom or mother, which is mama. You might talk about kaka. You might talk about baba, which is father. You might talk about sister, which is dada. And you might also talk about brother, which is kaka. So I'm talking about the brother, the sister, the mother, and the father. That is how you do say it. They are just two-syllable words. Baba, mama, kaka, dada. They are very, very simple. And we also did learn yesterday that in case you're saying hello to someone, you can say hujambo. You can just simply say hujambo to them. Wow, kaka in Spanish is a pop. Okay, I didn't know that. But thanks for that. Hujambo, you say hello. So if you're saying hello to a group, if you're saying hello to your brother, you say hujambo kaka. Hujambo kaka for hello brother. That is for hello brother. If you're saying hujambo dada, if you're saying hello to a sister, you will just say hujambo dada, hujambo dada, which is a hello sister. And even if you to interchange the order, and say dada hujambo, that would still be correct. Even if you to say dada hujambo, and interchange the structure, or interchange the wording, the structure of the greetings, still would be it would still be okay, because we'll say dada hujambo, but you can also say hujambo dada, and then if someone says hujambo to you, that is hello, your proper response will be sijambo. Is a response for that. Sijambo is a response. Sijambo is the response. So someone will come up and say, hujambo kaka. You will respond and say sijambo. You can say sijambo kaka, which is I'm well, brother. If someone says hujambo mama, which is hello mom or hello mother, you can respond and say sijambo. And if someone wanted to ask you how are you doing, or how are you doing, they would say hello and then ask how are you doing. And this is example. For example, if it's a sister, they would say hujambo dada, habari yako. Habari yako, that bit of habari yako is how are you? How are you? That is how are you? So they would say hujambo dada, habari yako. Hujambo dada, habari yako. Or someone might even ask, hujambo dada, habari gani? If someone says habari gani, it's also how are you? If someone says habari gani, it's also how are you? In the East African nations, when we do have tourists coming in, and they can't remember the greetings, or for some reason they don't want to say hujambo, you can actually also say jambo. If you say jambo to someone, jambo, it's also a way of saying hi. It's also another way of saying hi. If you say jambo, it's also another way of saying hi. But when you talk about pure Swahili, the Swahili that is spoken in Zanzibar, the Swahili that is spoken in Dar es Salaam, they also do say shikamo. Shikamo is also a greeting. Shikamo is also a greeting. And you can respond and say marahaba. Marahaba. So that is the way you respond. That is the response. Marahaba is the response. So if someone says shikamo mama, they're just saying hello mom. But that is mostly you find that being in the coastal, the place where the Swahili is still as pure as it is. If you go to places such as Nairobi, Uganda, and other different places, you will not really hear shikamo a lot of times. You'll mostly hear hujambo or habari yako. And when it comes to even now the urban setting or the urban context, someone might actually say mambo. Mambo is also a greeting, and this is not pure Swahili. This is mambo. This is like urban. The way you say hello also in urban places, you can say mambo, and the response will be poor. The response will be poor. So if someone says mambo, you respond and say poor, or you can respond and say fiti. But fiti is really not. Fiti is like fit. No, fit is okay or well. So that is not really Swahili, but in the urban context, you might be in Nairobi and someone is talking to you in Swahili, and they just say mambo, and you can respond and say poa, or you can respond and say salama, or you can respond and say fitting. So in the same context of our greetings, or get into the niceties of just meeting people and things like that. If someone says habari gani, you can respond and say nzuri, or you can say salama, or you can say njema. These are three ways in which you can respond. If someone says habari gani, you can simply tell them nzuri, or if someone says habari yako, you can tell them nzuri. Nzuri means good. I have taught these. Nzuri means good. Nzuri means good. If someone says salama, salama means well. Salama means well. And if someone says njema, njema means okay. Njema means good or okay. It means good. All okay. So you might decide to respond using those few responses. Using those few responses, either njema or salama, or you can respond and say nzuri. You can respond and say nzuri. Thank you to those that have joined us for class. Let us know you're streaming us from. Coming live to you from Nairobi, Kenya. And I just want to check in also on the people of California. You know, things are thick. You know, things are pretty bad. You know, with the California wild forest fires. I was just seeing the news, and it's devastating. You know, it's devastating because if you left, or you have been away from your home, and then went back, you would hardly recognize what you used to know as your home, because you know the whole place has changed. So my heart goes out to the people of California, those that have been affected by all these insane, devastating wild forest fires. I was saying yesterday that it's difficult a time like this to start pointing blame, you know, pointing fingers at whomever, this department, this department, the governor, the mayor, whomever. I think the best thing that can be done right now is just coming together and you know, working collectively just to see what can be done and what help can be offered to everyone that has been affected in that regard. I was seeing even popular celebrities, and not just celebrities. Is, you know, when it comes to a catastrophe like that happens, you know, it does not really spare your home because you're popular in music or you're a film star or you're this and that. They, you know, when it comes to natural calamities or even man-made human caused calamities, it's the devastation is just collective. You know, you cannot say, you know, the home was spared because, you know, it's owned by this and that. That's the sad reality of life. And I do hope people are able to get back on their feet, or not it. Even if you to build another house that is identical, it's very difficult to also retrace some memories from the other older house. But anyhow, welcome back to the class. This is the Swahili classes for the weekend. The Swahili language is very, very beautiful, a Bantu language. And if you go to Rwanda, you will find people speaking in Swahili. If you go to the DRC Congo, you will find Swahili speakers from the DRC Congo. If you go to, if you come to Kenya, you'll find so many Swahili speakers. And if you go to Tanzania, everything is done in Swahili. All communication, most of the communication is done in Swahili because it is the official language and it is also the national language. In Kenya, Swahili is the national language, but it's not the official language. You can still go and communicate in English in other different places. But for many people, they can at least communicate in 3 languages, which is Swahili, English, and their mother tongue, you know, and their mother tongue. And I was saying that on the African continent, we do have so many languages, over 1,500 languages. If you go to Nigeria alone, you do have 200 languages. If you go to Ethiopia, you do have 81 languages. If you come to Kenya, we do have 47 languages. If you go to Tunisia, Cameroon, 150 languages. If you go to Rwanda, you will find about 3 languages. If you go to Tanzania, also so many of the languages. But one thing that I do applaud the first president or the founding father of Tanzania is his effort. Even if he was introducing this socialist system of governance, he also made sure that Swahili is a national language and Swahili is also the official language. So if you're in a classroom studying chemistry or studying geography or studying physics or studying whatever other course in Tanzania, the language used is the language of instruction is Swahili. And that is also quite interesting. It also sort of inspires that nationalism or that spirit, the patriotic spirit of the Tanzanian people. You know, it's very good because the language unifies them. And even when you talk about Pan-Africanism on the continent, I am a strong believer in a Pan-Africanism. I do say that when we did have the father of Pan-Africanism on the continent, he is Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah was very, very much interested in the unity of the people. And he spoke about, you know, also getting to a level where people would get to use one currency and just get to have an integration of the economy. But then again, I think another thing that he also ought to have pushed for is for Swahili also to be adopted. You know, I don't know how many languages there are in Ghana, but I do know that for a fact there are so many. But one thing we need on the continent is unity, and we need Swahili as a language. Apart from the continent alone, we also need this language also spread and shared across the whole of, you know, South America, places like Brazil, where we do have the largest community of our people anywhere outside Africa in Brazil. So if we did have Swahili teachers or people just, you know, tutors sharing the language in Brazil and are just, you know, inspiring that collective African consciousness using the language, I think that would be a good place to start because it inspires that Pan-African spirit between our people, whether be it on the continent, whether be it in the US, whether be it in Brazil, whether be it in Europe, wherever our African and our Black people are around the world, we need this African language. So we continue. We do continue. And I give examples. I did give examples. Yesterday, I did share some examples. And these were examples. These were examples of, these were some beautiful examples of the vowel, the words that have Swahili vowels. Some of them are just words, others are rather phrases. But let me also get back and share that once again with us so that we can also be on the same page. So that you can also be on the same page. So that we can be on the same page. And I believe this is where it is. Let me try share. Let me try share these. So what we do have on the screen, and these are some examples of the words, the Swahili words, demonstrating the use of the vowel sound. And the vowels, we do have A, the vowel A, which is the English letter A. We did say we do have examples, for example, andika, which means to write. You might also say anua. You might also say anataka, which is a phrase. Anataka simply means he or she wants. If you to use, go to the second example, the second vowel, which is e, which is the English letter E, but the Swahili vowel e. You might say eneo, which means an area or a region. You might say endelea, which is the example we do have here, endelea, which means to continue. You might also mean elekea. Elekea means to follow. Elekea mkondo. If you say bendera hufuata upepo, or bendera huelekea mkondo, I think it might also mean to follow. The vowel E, the Swahili vowel E, is the English letter I. It's the English letter I. And you might say inuka. But I think in some way it's also the pronunciation of this inuka with the Swahili vowel I is the same like with English. You know, in English you might say innovate, which is the letter I, but the way you say it, it's E, innovate. And I think there's some similarity there. But in Swahili we do say inuka for rise up. You might say what other example will that be? Inuka. You might say ingia. Ingia, which means to enter. And also now for the fourth example, you would actually have the vowel O, which is used in the words, for example, ondoka. The vowel, Swahili vowel O, it's the English letter O. It's the English letter O. So you might say ondoka sasa. Sasa means right now. Sasa means right now. And the way you emphasize something, there are two ways. You might say sasa. It means like ondoka sasa. It means just live now, like live now, ondoka. Let me just put it down, ondoka, which means to live. But if someone says like right now, live right now, that would be ondoka sasa, that would be live now, because sasa means now. Sasa means now. And that is not to be confused with what we were learning yesterday. Yesterday we did say that sana, S-A-N-A, sana, which is a two-syllable word, sana, means very. So if someone is emphasizing something, you might say haraka sana. Haraka is fast. Haraka means fast. So if you're saying njoo haraka sana, if there is that suffix sana after a verb, and then that means it's emphasizing or it's stressing the urgency of that particular verb. You might say njoo haraka sana. You might say kimbia haraka sana. Sana is just a really a way to say very. And the opposite of haraka is pole. So if you do say pole, which is like pole is a slow, but pole can also be used as a common courtesy word. Pole means sorry. So if you do say pole kaka, that means sorry brother. If you do say pole dada, and you're trying to comfort someone, you can also tell them pole. It means sorry. If you say pole dada, that is a sorry sister. But if you're trying to emphasize, you do say sana. So you do say pole sana, dada. You say pole sana, dada, which is very sorry, sister, very sorry, sister. That is how you do say. So do not confuse those two words, sana and sasa. Sana is for a lot or very, but sasa is for right now. So if someone says njoo, yesterday we learned that njoo means just come over, njoo. Someone might say njoo sasa, which is come over right now, come right now, or come over right now. So njoo sasa. That is how you actually get to say it. Keith, thank you for joining us on the stream. I do hope that your Sunday is coming along just fine. And also for the rest of the family that might be joining us from Rumble or from BitTute, thank you so much for being with us, and also for this opportunity to just get to learn Swahili together. So when it comes to now, when it comes to also how you do get to welcome people or have common courtesy in Swahili, it's not rather difficult. Like I just introduced. If you tell someone sorry, then you just say pole. Pole is for sorry. If you tell someone welcome, like I did at the start of the show, I did say karibu sana, which is karibu, and I have told you, and I have taught us that if you do put the word sana as a suffix after any suffix, that is a effect to the shadow ban. I understand that, Kid. I do see the numbers are we have more people check us out on a Rumble and a BitTute than on YouTube. I understand. I do know how they play with the system and do a shadow ban on us, but nonetheless, we shall still proceed and continue learning Swahili and uniting our people through this beautiful African language. I was saying that if you talk about karibu sana, that sana is an emphasis, and it emphasizes a lot. Much welcome, very welcome. So you say very welcome. So if I do say karibu sana darasani, that is just very much welcome to the class, because for class we do say darasa. So if someone says karibu sana darasani, they are simply meaning you're welcome to, you're very much welcome to the Swahili class. If they do tell you karibu sana nyumbani, nyumba is a house. Nyumba, you say nyumba for house. So if they do say karibu sana nyumbani, then that is karibu sana. Let me just karibu sana nyumbani, karibu sana nyumbani. That is you're very much welcome, home, very much welcome home. So nyumba is a house. Some people ask what's the difference between a house and a home. Everyone has their own answers to that. But in Swahili, you do say nyumba for house, and for a house, and also for home, that is nyumba. And if you do add an ni, to nyumba, see we have nyumba here, nyumba. If you do add an ni, nyumbani, which is home, the ni that we add at the end of the word, the ni that we add at the end of nyumba, it simply means inside the home, or inside the house, all within, inside. The ni is for inside, all within, inside, all within, inside, all within. So if I do say darasa is a class, but if I do say darasani, it means inside the class, all within the class, inside the class, all within the class. So darasa, like I shared a bit earlier on, darasa, like I have shared a bit earlier on, darasa simply means class, but if you do say darasani, it means inside the class. If we're talking about another place, for example, soko is a market. Soko is a market. But if you do say sokoni, if you do say sokoni, this is within or inside the market. This is inside the market, or within the market. So if someone might ask you, J, waenda wapi? The JE is a thing of signaling the start of a question. J, waenda wapi? Which is, hey, where are you going? Where are you headed to? You might say naelekea sokoni. So it means I am going to the market, and you're talking about the market, inside the market. Naelekea sokoni, or ninaenda sokoni. Ninaenda sokoni. So when you do have the ni, being used before a verb, we shall get into learning into about the verbs and the proverbs. The verbs, the adverbs, and the pronouns, and the nouns and the non-nouns. But I just like to highlight the fact that ni has many uses. The ni has many uses, and you find it in almost every word and phrase in Swahili. But the ni, for example, ninaenda, enda means to go. So, but if you say ninaenda, the ni, the ni there, the ni means I, or it points to I. It points to myself. So there are two ni's. The first ni that I shared with you is at the end of a noun, and this is a noun which is the name of a place. A noun can be a name of a person, it can be a name of a thing, it can be a name of an idea. But when the noun regards the name of a place, and then you do have ni at the end of that particular noun, it means inside that place or within that place. But then again, there is this second use of ni. For example, in the word ninaenda, if it is used, if the ni, the ni, is used as a prefix for a verb, it's used as a prefix for a verb, then it points to me. It points to self. It points to self. If you say ninaenda, it means I am going. If you say ninakula, Kula means eat. Kula means eat. It means eat. So if you do say ninakula, that is basically for I am eating. I am eating. I am eating. But if you do say nilikula, it means I ate. But if you say nitakula, it means I will eat. We shall talk about the tense markers as we proceed with this particular class. That should not worry you. We shall, move step by step. But let's get back on track. Those are two uses of ni in Swahili. Yesterday, we were introducing the words of a popular, or the words of body parts. And we did say, for example, if you're talking about your head, you do say kichwa. You do say kichwa. If you're talking about your eyes, you do say jicho, for one eye, jicho. If you're talking about a nose, a big nose like this, you talk about pua. If you're talking about the beard, we call it ndevu. The mouth is mdomo. The ears are masikio, if there are two ears, but if it's one, you talk about sikio. Sikio is also very close. Sikio is the ear. Sikio is the ear. Sikio is the ear. But the verb for hearing, is also related to the word for your ear. It's sikia. Sikia, it's for hearing. Sikia means hearing. If you can hear me, I would ask, can you hear me? If I do ask, can you hear me? I would ask, je, unanisikia? Sikia simply means to hear. Can you hear me? And then there are two things that you respond in the affirmative or in the negative. If it's in the affirmative, you do say ndio. Ndio, like this is yes, ndio. This is ndio, ndio for yes. That is in the affirmative. And if it's a no, this is the way you shake your head, or just nudge your head like that. The way you shake your head and say no, no is apana or hapana. So it's apana. You can say apana for no. And there's also another way you say it. You can say nam. Nam is for yes. And la is for no. La is for no. That is in the negative. La is for no. So you're talking about yes. You can say ndio. You can also say nam for yes. If someone asks, unataka chakula, and you might shake your head and say nam, ndio, it means they're asking you, will you have some food? Would you like to have some food? Je, ungependa kula chakula? Or you might say no. You might say hapana. You might say hapana. Asanti. You might say no thanks, which is apana, asanti. Or you might say sitaki. Sitaki means I don't want. Sitaki, S-I. Sitaki is I don't want. I don't want. But the phrase for I want, yes, I want, you would say ninataka. Ninataka, which is I want. I want. So you might say ninataka maji. Maji is a very two-syllable word, a Swahili, which means water. If you do say ninataka maji, then that is I want some water. Ninataka maji, I want some water. Ninataka maji is I want some water. If you do say ninataka chakula, it simply means I want food. But of course, we'll get into learning the common courtesy words, because you don't just say nataka chakula. You might say tafadhali, which is please. I want some water, please. I want some water, please. So if you say ninataka maji, you say ninataka maji tafadhali. Tafadhali is the Swahili word for please. Tafadhali. That is the Swahili word. The Swahili word for tafadhali is please. The Swahili word for please So if you wanted to also say thanks, if you wanted to say thanks after someone has served you the food, for example, someone has served you some water, or they have served you some juice, or they have served you some something to eat, or even fruits, like you had some pudding, or you had some porridge, or you had some whatever they had served you. The way you say thank you is asante. The way you say thank you is asante. And asante is for thanks, or thank you. It's for thanks or thank you. But you might want to emphasize, you're very thankful. You might want to emphasize. So you would actually say asante sana, which is ASANT, asante sana. I did say that, very, thanks a lot. That is thanks a lot, asante sana. Asante sana simply just means thanks a lot. And like I did say, do not confuse sasa and sana. Sasa is for now. Sasa means just now. Means now. But sana, S-A-N-A means a lot. A lot. It just means a lot. So if you do say nimeshiba sana, I'm full. For example, someone has served you a whole lot of food, big platter of this and that, and you want to thank them, you might say asante, nimeshiba sana, I am very full. So sana is just really meant to explain the magnitude of whatever you're describing, the magnitude of whatever that you are describing. So someone might say njoo ndani karibu chai, njoo ndani karibu chai. Ansankinon, you're saying Spikes, are good to see you. Good to see you too, brother Ansankinon. It has been like a long minute. I don't know. It has been a while, but thank you so much for checking in on us and just joining the class for today. When we started this class so many years ago, we did have the likes of Haki Sankofa. I do hope that he's doing fantastic wherever he is at, and I can almost I'm almost assured that Swahili, Haki Sankofa Swahili is much better now, because he was very much enthusiastic about the language, and that should also go for all of us. I just get to wonder whether the likes of Malcolm X, when he toured Africa, whether he got an opportunity to learn any Swahili, or even speak any Swahili. But nonetheless, that's a story for another different day. So when you talk about these parts of the body, like I've mentioned, you talk about the head, kichwa. You can talk about jicho, that is for the eyes. You can talk about ndevu. Ndevu is for ndevu is for ndevu is for the beard. But if you're talking about the hair, you talk about nywele. Nywele is for the hair, for your hair. You may talk about black. We talk about colors as you move on, but if you say nywele nyeusi, it means just black hair, nywele nyeusi. And if you're talking about the neck, it's shingo. If you're talking about the chest, it's kifua. If you're talking about the thigh is paja. If you're talking about the breast, it's titi. If you're talking about the buttock, it's tako. If you're talking about the heart, you say roho. If you're talking about the hip or the waist, you say kiuno. If you're talking about the leg, you say mguu. In examples, for example, when these words are used in a sentence, you might say mguu wake unauma, which means his or her leg is aching. His or her leg is aching. And if you do say that you wanted to say that he or she got a heart attack, you might say alipatwa na mshtuko wa roho. Alipatwa na mshtuko wa roho. Alipatwa na mshtuko wa roho. That is simply how you get to say that they got a heart attack. They got a heart attack, and a heart is a roho. A heart is roho. If someone has a bad heart, in Swahili the first is roho mbaya. If someone has a bad heart and they are always, they don't want anything positive happening for others, you do say roho mbaya. Roho is for the heart. Roho is for the heart. And if someone says yule ni roho mbaya, roho mbaya simply means a bad heart. A bad-hearted person, someone who really wouldn't like to see, other people progress, or love to see anything good happen with any situation. You see, these are roho mbaya. But if someone is good-hearted, you simply just say roho nzuri, roho nzuri, roho nzuri, roho nzuri, roho nzuri, which is a good heart, good heart. So going back to what we just said, if someone was asking you a question and you want to respond in the affirmative, you do send your, which is yes. If you do want to respond in the negative, you do say apana or la. And if you want to emphasize if you want to emphasize no, you simply say la hasha, la hasha. La hasha is this no, 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 like you want to emphasize, and you say la hasha. That is how you do say it. But ndio is for yes. Ndio is for yes. If someone says nje, ungependa chakula, would you love to have some food? And you say ndio, then that is in the affirmative. If you say apana, asante, that is no, I don't want, thank you. That is simply how you get to say it. So we move along swiftly. Swiftly. And we can talk about maybe animals. And before we go into basic commodities, just touching a little bit on animals and how you do refer to animals. And in Swahili, you can refer to domestic animals. For example, paka. Paka is for cat. Paka is for cat. Mbwa. Mbwa is for dog. If you're talking about chicken, chicken is kuku. Kuku is for chicken or a hen. If you're talking about that is a chicken. If you're talking about a horse, you do say farasi. Farasi. That is not a dosto. That is a farasi. And these are how you refer to animals, or these are how you refer to some of these animals in Swahili. Let me share with us a list of more of them. We do have, for example, I have taught us about paka. We do have cow. Cow is ng'ombe. Ng'ombe. There are very few words in Swahili. Are they few actually? They're not that few, but there are words in Swahili that do have an apostrophe. So, for example, you do have ng'ombe. Ng'ombe is a word in Swahili and it has a special apostrophe there, ng'ombe. Let me show us ng'o. Ng'ombe. That is for a cow. And there are other words that do have apostrophes like this, but they are not so many. There is a sengenge, sengenge, senge, sengenge, senge, sengenge. Sengenge is for barbed wire. Sengenge is for barbed wire. Barbed wire. But anyhow, let me not get to move from the animals, examples of animals. We do have wild animals. When you talk about if you go into the park, if you go into a national park, for example, the one in Nairobi. Actually, Nairobi is the only city. Nairobi is the only city with a national park inside. Like, if I left my house, it wouldn't take me more than, still in the city, I don't think it would take me more than 40 minutes getting to a national park. And that is quite interesting because you'll not go to other many cities and find national parks inside the city. But that is not to mean that you'll come up and bump into lions and elephants and buffaloes and all these animals anywhere. But anyhow, it's quite interesting. If you're ever to tour a national park, then these are the names of these animals. The lion, we call it Simba. The lion, we call it Simba. I think we already know that, Simba. The lion is not called Mufasa. The lion is called Simba. And the elephant is known as Ndovu. Ndovu for elephant. If you're talking about the rhinoceros or the rhino, it's called Kifaru. And I can almost bet that in the next maybe 30 or so years, the rhinos might become extinct if something is not done. I think some of the types of rhinos have become extinct. Some of them you can find them in Kenya. But I think if you don't find a rhino in Kenya, there are high chances that you will not find it anywhere else. Maybe you might go to South Africa and find a few. But I would say that the rhinoceros are also almost becoming a thing of the past, which is very unfortunate. But we also do have the buffaloes, which are known as nyati. We do have the cheetah, which is known as chewy. The cheetah is known as a chewy, and I think those are enough examples for wild animals or for animals generally. So from there, I will jump into basic or common items and how you refer to them in Swahili. And number one is water and food. For food, we have already talked about food. I don't think there's any conversation that would go on for so long without mentioning yes, that is a national park inside the city. Kid, we did a tour of the national park. That was in 2018. Was it in 2018? I think also Katie and Joby went to the park, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I think they did. I think I might have seen a video of Joby and Katie on the network going to the Nairobi National Park. And it's quite a wonderful place. You can see the lions. You can see, I believe, a leopard or something. And you can see, what's the thing? You'll find what do you call this? A hyena there. But the funny thing, there are people who still think that if you tour Africa, as you're moving along, as you're walking around, and you'll just be bumping into rhinos, you'll be bumping into elephants, you will be bumping into zebras and gazelles. Of course, there are places that you would go and you'll bump into them just quite easily without even being inside a park. There are places like that. I recently had an opportunity to go to a county known as Tana River. And, another gentleman was telling me, that one day they were getting somewhere and they bumped into an elephant. And then they had to wait for the elephant to just make its way. And but that is not in the cities. There are places that you would go and you'll find all sorts of animals, and they are not actually even in parks, but they are, in the wilderness there. But that is not in the city. Anyhow, let's continue with our class. You're welcome at any point. If you ever tour Kenya, please make sure you visit the national park in the city. There's also a beautiful giraffe center, which is also not very far from the city center. You can find giraffes, have breakfast there, and enjoy the wilderness, because some of these animals, like I did say with the rhinoceros, I think they are going to be extinct. There is a possibility that these animals become extinct in the near future. For example, it's called the northern white rhino. The northern white rhino, there might just be a handful of them left in the world. And I think they're trying to do this artificial insemination and, the freezing of, there's a way they do it. I do not know whether they still stand a chance to survive, but the northern white rhinos are in Kenya and other places. I think they're almost a thing of the past. So if you don't spot it now, or if you don't see it within the next few years, then that's that. You can always see it in a movie or something, but it's here in Kenya. Let's move on. So for water, we do say maji. For water, we do say maji. And if someone asks, Je, unataka maji? Je, unataka maji? If someone is to ask you, Je, unataka maji? I believe it was a general on the streets. I remember the sister who was actually saying that there are traffic lights in Africa. Is there any country with traffic lights in Africa? Anyhow, I can't remember the name of the sister, but I hope she got an opportunity to visit the continent and come see for herself, because I don't know, some people have this ideology about the continent, and of course, there are realities that you might imagine that might be close to the truth, because, like I'm telling you, I was able to go to a country known as Tana River, and people there live in poverty, and they live very close to the wilderness. And if that is the image of Africa that you might get, if someone was to maybe do a call from there and tell you this is how we live, you might think that all of Africa is like that. So I understand to some extent why people think Africa is a jungle, because maybe perhaps, anyway, it's difficult to explain. But anyhow, for the water, we do call water maji, M-A-J-I, that is water. So if you can say ninataka maji tafadhali, nisaidie na maji tafadhali. So saidia means to help. Saidia means to help. Saidia means to help. Means to help. So naomba unisaidie na maji. Naomba is I am requesting. Naomba is I am requesting. I'm requesting, or I'm asking for. Requesting or asking for. So if you say naomba maji kidogo, naomba maji kidogo. Naomba maji is I'm borrowing, or I'm asking for. I'm asking for some water. I'm asking for water. If you say naomba chakula, naomba chakula kidogo, naomba chakula, that would be I'm asking for food. I'm asking for some food. I'm asking for some food. So if someone says naomba pesa, it's simply asking for money, because money is pesa. And we are forced to say that the another word for money is fedha, F-A-D-H-A, fedha, which is also for money. Or you might say pesa. You might also say pesa. I actually came across a very funny thing today. Actually, it's not funny, but it's just rather stupid in some way. This is an image. This is an image that I happened to come across of the president of our country. The president of our country saying that. Let me just say it when verbatim, the way he was actually saying. He was saying that. Let me see if I can pull up this particular post. He was saying the president, William Ruto, condoles with the victims of the Los Angeles fires, and says that Kenya is ready to offer support as the US recovers and builds. So I was just thinking to myself, the US has not reached out to Kenya for any kind of a support or any kind of a help. But when it comes to help, asking for help, you do say naomba. You do say naomba. And if you're asking for assistance, you do say naomba usaidizi. Usaidizi is assistance. Usaidizi is assistance. And it comes from the word saidi. So you say usaidizi. Naomba usaidizi. The US has not asked for any assistance from Kenya, but we still have our president going all out saying that, all assistance you might need right now, we are bringing it to you, and all these other things. Anyhow, we are living in interesting times. Usaidizi, naomba usaidizi, which is I am asking for help. I am asking for help. I'm asking for help. I am asking for help. That is simply how you get to say it. That is simply how you get to say it. Asking for help. Naomba usaidizi. Naomba maji. Naomba chakula kidogo. That would be I'm requesting for some food. And if someone extends that courtesy of giving you some water, you do say asante. You take some water, and you will say asante na shukuru. Asante is how you say thank you. It's thanks. And if you want to say nashukuru or ninashukuru is I appreciate. Ninashukuru is I appreciate. I appreciate is I appreciate. Exactly. What the hell is he talking about? Los Angeles GDP as a city itself is bigger than every other African country, almost combined, including Kenya. He was saying that he's ready to come to the rescue. Any kind of assistance, he will be sharing that with the US. And I was just thinking, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, if you want to say asante na shukuru, asante is thanks. asante, thanks, and then you might add the word ninashukuru, or the first ninashukuru, which is thank you, I appreciate. Thank you, I appreciate. Or you might say asante sana. Sana is to emphasize very. Thank you very much, I appreciate. Ninashukuru, you can also say ninashukuru sana. Sana. Sana is for SANA, which means a lot or very. Nashukuru sana. Ninashukuru sana. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult to understand. It's quite easy. And if you do have a question, if you do have any question, that is what it is. You have the. He was talking on behalf of the country, so I'm just wondering. Anyway, either way, when you look at this whole issue, I don't know. It baffles my mind. But anyhow, let's continue with more basic items. We talk about food, chakula. We talk about water. We talk about clothes. We talk about cloth. Cloth is nguo. Nguo. Nguo is for cloth. Nguo is for cloth. Nguo is for cloth. Nguo or mavazi. You might say mavazi. Mavazi. It's mavazi. 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 Mavazi is for also for clothing. Mavazi is also for clothing. Kid, you're saying you have money. You have money. You have money for that spikes. I don't know if you saw that video sharing yesterday, Kid, on here about that brother from Benin. He was talking about he has been in Hollywood for 30 years, and he's still struggling. That guy would actually say that he would actually say sina ninataka. He would actually say ninataka kazi zaidi. I think he wants more gigs in Hollywood. But after saying what he said, after saying that Hollywood, of course, Hollywood is a racist as racist gets. But he was actually just saying that after that he has been struggling. And, I feel for the guy. And he was actually saying, no, that is the systematic racism. I'm not sure even whether they'll be giving him any more gigs. His name is Jimon. Is it Jim? Jimon Honsu. I'm not sure whether that is the correct pronunciation of his name. But he might say, ninataka pesa. Let me just share that video as we take a break. Let's just take a break with this video. And then we shall continue. This is just a break. And then we shall continue with our class. This was Larry Madowo. What happened to that video? Let me see.
Struggling, trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business.
I've been in this, I'm still struggling, trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business.
I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades, and still, with 2 nominations, I'm still struggling, trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business.
I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades, and still, with 2 Oscar nominations, many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially to make a living. I'm definitely underpaid.
How has Hollywood changed in terms of African representation in what you see since you started out to what's being produced now?
I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking about the fact that they thought that I had just came off the boat and off the streets. Even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon.
Growing up, you're one of the first big Black actors I saw in big budget films. So it's mind-boggling to me.
Well, that's a sign for you that systemic racism is not something that you can deal with lightly. You have to cope with it and survive.
He talks about coping with the systematic racism. I think the brother has just thrown in the cards and thrown in the towel and giving up. But after calling out Hollywood, for being a systematic for systematic racism. I don't know what will happen with his career, but that is the truth of the matter, and that is just a bit of a break. But anyhow, let's get back to the Swahili class. Thank you so much for joining us for class today. Your time is not wasted because after every lesson you are able to learn something new. Within every lesson. He said 30 years, for 3 decades, more than 25 years, he has been doing gigs in Hollywood. And he's still broke because he's black. Exactly. Viola Davis tried complaining the whole time. Viola Davis, what do you call Taraji P. Henson, was crying foul because of the same. Who else? I haven't heard Lupita say nothing because Lupita, I think she's afraid she might call Hollywood out and then, she might lose these gigs. But this brother, what does it matter? He wasn't getting paid good anyway. It's heartbreaking because you see, the guy is putting a lot of work but gets nothing, gets peanuts. No equal pay. If you're black, they say you're still a nigger. And you're not getting nothing now from all your blockbusters that people see you in, and they think that you're getting this big money. But anyhow, we as a black people need to come together and also get to address our issues as we need to. But anyhow, support our own film, and also not just support our own film, but also support our own networks. For example, like we do have with the Black Hot Fire Network. They told him sit down, each other fuck up. We as a black people don't want to support our own. We are not supporting our own platforms. We want to rush there and then complain later, oh, this and that. But anyway, we also have a role to play. But let's get back to the Swahili class. We were learning about basic items and how you can ask for them. If you want to ask for food, you say ninataka chakula. If you want to ask for water, you might say ningependa maji. And of course, we also do have things like fruits. If you're talking about fruits in Swahili, we do say chakula. Matunda, tunda for fruit. For fruit, but if they are many, we do say matunda. If they are many, we do say matunda for fruits. So if we do say ninakula matunda, kula is eat, ninakula matunda. So that is ninakula matunda. I am eating fruits. I'm eating fruits. I told us about the two uses of ni. The two uses of ni. When ni is used at the end of a noun in Swahili, for example, I did say soko, and we do have ni at the end of that particular word. It means soko is for market, but the ni at the end there means inside the market or within the market. But if we use ni at the start or as a prefix for a verb, you say ninakula, that is used to reflect or to point to me, to self. So if you say ninakula chakula, it means I am eating food. If you say ninakunywa maji, it means I am drinking water. If you say ninakunywa chai, chai is for tea. I think most of us know chai is for tea. And if you're talking about coffee, we do say kahawa. So that is for coffee. So if you say ninataka kahawa, it means I want kahawa. I want coffee. We also have things like you can eat, like cake. Cake is keki. So if you say ninataka keki is I want a cake. I want a cake. When you come to the context of the local cuisines in Africa, especially in Nairobi, they are, there's a whole lot of diversity in the culinary delights that you can enjoy, the variety of food that you can enjoy. And we do have rice, that is mchele, we call it mchele. So if you went to a hotel, and they ask you, they said karibu dada, for example, your sister, they say karibu dada, je ungependa nini? What would you like? Je ungependa nini? You might say ningependa mchele or ninataka mchele. Mchele is for rice, if you wanted to have that ugali, you know, ugali is also very, very popular. Ugali. Can you share this document, please? Yes, I will. Lydia, I do see you. You saying, can you share the document? Yes, I will share it with you. I think on mail. I can just forward it to you on mail. So if you're talking about ugali, you might say ninataka ugali. You say ninataka ugali, it means I want some ugali. I want some ugali. I want some ugali, which is for the white, the maize flour. Maize flour, you know, mixed in hot water, and then you prepare some nice meal. That is ugali. Or you can have mchele, or you can have chapati. Chapati is I think most of us know chapati. Lydia, if you want to also join us if you want to join class, Lydia is a friend of mine here. Let me share a link with you in case you want to join the class directly. You can just click on this link that I shared in case you just want to join the class. And in case you want to try out, you know, in case you want to try out pronouncing some of these particular words, and let us know whether there is some similarities between Swahili and any language from Cameroon. I'm not sure whether you know any languages from Cameroon, but I would presume you do. But you can join us and see if there are any similarities of some of these Swahili words, because I do believe there is the Bantu people, you know, in Cameroon, and also in the whole of Nigeria, and also in other, you know, in West Africa. I think the only place where, you know, we have now that line is you know, the northern part of Africa, Morocco and Algeria and Tunisia and Egypt. But for the other part of Africa, you know, our Bantu people who have borrowed different versions of words from the original Bantu languages, they can still have some similarities, you know, in our words. For example, if it's Mlango, it might be Mlango is a door. It might be also the same. Never know if it might also be the same word used in maybe another South African language like Bemba or Nyanja. There might be some similarities, but that is just the way our languages get to evolve. If people break apart, you know, they will make their own separate community, but there will be new words being introduced in that language, but there will still be the core or the root of particular words that will still remain. And therefore, even if language evolves, you will still find some root words that have stuck and people still use them. For example, in Ubuntu, I believe it stands for humanity or for human being. I do believe. And if you go to, for example, I think there's Western Kenya, the people of the Luya people. I think they say Umondu. They say Umondu. For example, if you go to the central part of Kenya, they will say Mondu or Mondo, and then you do have Umundu, and then we do have, I think, even if you go to South Africa, you still have the same wording for Mundu coming from the root. Maybe you know, sharing a common root. That I don't know that, but I believe that is how language gets to work. You know, there are some roots that will still remain, and then they will do a bit of changes. But you will find, even when you're listening to the language, you can still catch on a few. You can still catch on a few words, because it originates from the same. It stems from the same origin, or it was initially the same language, and then it became. They decided to go different ways, and now people decided to develop their language in a different way. But at some point, it was one language. Therefore, I saying yes, just like the Shona language down in Zimbabwe. Yes, Sister Rumbizai Muzopa, she actually also acknowledged the same. And even when we were in Rwanda, you know, you could hear some of these particular words, and you know, it's a Bantu languages as well they're speaking, and so you'll find some similarities in these words, and you'll know that we are just one and the same people, only that because of the many years of being separated for many years, then there's a problem. There's some changes with that. But yes, that is how language works. So yes, when you're talking about things like chair, which is also another item, which is also another thing that comes up in a day-to-day conversation. The chair is known as a kitty. The chair is known as a kitty or a seat. If you told take a seat, someone will say karibu kitty, karibu kitty, karibu kitty, karibu kitty. That is have a seat. Have a seat. So if I say hujambo dada, and that was just saying hello, and you say sijambo, and I would say karibu nyumbani. If I say karibu nyumbani, that would be welcome home. And then you answer, I would say karibu kiti, you can have a seat. And then you say thank you, asante sana. You may say nashukuru, and then as you take in a seat. It might be even an uncle. An uncle is mjomba for an uncle. An auntie is shangazi. If you're talking about a nephew, it's mpwa. A nephew is mpwa. And also a niece happens to be mpwa. And also a niece is also mpwa. A niece is also mpwa. So that is how you do get to say it. Shangazi for auntie, mjomba for uncle. But I happen to realize in the coastal region they call anyone. It's like we do have a uncle. It's also it's a word for respect. If someone is elder than you can call them jomba or mjomba, which is a brotherly, not a brotherly kind of a word, mjomba or jomba. Just like you say, Uncle Snoop, or you can say Uncle whomever, and it's just a kind of just a word that you can call someone. It doesn't necessarily have to be your uncle. Maybe just a guy who's older than you, and he's not your father, and you think he's also maybe younger. Anyhow, you can call them mjomba as well. So you might say hujambo mjomba, or jambo mjomba, or jambo jomba, and that is just saying hello to them. Shangazi is for auntie, and for mkwe is in-laws. Your in-laws, you call them mkwe. You say mama mkwe is the mother-in-law. If you say baba mkwe, it's for the father-in-law. It's for the father-in-law. You also have to put. You also have to have that distinction when you are also asking, talking about that. So now that we know the members of the family unit, and we also know about some of the items, let's go ahead and talk about ownership, or let's go and relate the relationship between things or between people. Relationship and also ownership in Swahili. So let me share my screen with you on the notes so that you can get to see. So when you're talking about relationship and also ownership, when you're talking about mama, we did say that mama is mother or mom, and you would say now if you want to show us the relationship between you and this mother, what might be your mother or my mother. So if it's my mom, I'll actually just say mama yangu. So we do have that yangu, mama yangu. That is how you do say yangu. Yang, yangu for yangu is mine or my. It shows that relationship between you and whomever. So if you say yule ni mama yangu, yule ni mama yangu, yule, you're pointing to someone. If you point to someone there, you do say that's my mother, that's my mom, that's my mom. So you would say yule ni mama yangu, yule ni mama yangu, yule ni mama yangu. So you are showing that relationship between you and them. So that's my mother, that's my mother. If you're talking about your sister, you would say dada yangu, my sister. If you say yule ni dada yangu, that would be that's my sister. Yule ni dada yangu, dada yangu simply is my sister, my sister. My sister is for that is a dada yangu. If you say brother, my brother, you would say kaka yangu, kaka yangu, that's my brother, So yangu is just that word that shows my or mine, that relationship between you and them. But if you're talking about yours, yours, we do say yako. So therefore, if I do say ndugu yako or dada yako, that means your sister. your sister. Dada yako. Dada yako. So you want my point and say yule ni dada yako. Je, yule ni dada yako? That would be, is that your sister? Your sister. If I point and say, je, yule ni mama yako? I would be meaning, is that your mom? If I was to point and say, je, yule ni babako, baba yako? It might be, is that your father? Is that your dad? And that is simply how you show that relationship between you and them, between you and them. Your sister, my sister. Your sister, my sister. But if it's our sister, we are here with a bunch of, siblings. It's me and my brother, and we're talking about our mother or our sister. We do say yetu. Yetu is our. Yetu is our. Our. So we do say dada yetu. It means our sister. Dada yetu is our sister. Our sister. So if you met up with someone and they're asking, how is your sister doing? How is your sister? How is your sister doing? They would simply ask, habari ya dada yako? Habari ya dada yako, which is, how is your sister? How is your sister? They might ask, how is your mother? If they're asking, how is your mother? Habari ya mama yako? They would be asking, how is your mother? How is your mother? If they say, habari ya baba yako, it's how is your father? How is your father? And that is how you do show that relationship between you and them, the relationship between you and them, and that is how it is. Up to that point, I will take some questions. Up to that point, I will take some questions. Let me take some questions to that particular point. Kindly do ask anything that may pop up in your head, or some that we have mentioned right here in this class for today. Please go ahead and ask. Uliza swali. Uliza swali is ask a question. Ask a question is uliza swali. Uliza swali. Uliza swali. Please go ahead and ask a question. I'll be more than glad to respond. I'll be more than happy to respond to you. I will be more than glad to respond to your question. By the other start of the year, so many people make different resolutions. I would just like to inquire which is some of the main resolutions that you have made this particular year. Which are some of the resolutions that you have made this particular year? Personal resolutions or even group resolutions. I would love to hear from anyone regarding any New Year's resolutions that you might have made this particular year. Would be interesting to hear what are some of the resolutions that the family here on the network have made. Remember, you're live from Rumble. You can take us out on Rumble. You can watch the stream on Rumble because sometimes there's all this shadow banning going on now with this platform. You can also watch from BitChute. Please make sure to subscribe to our Rumble as well, Black Hot Fire Network on Rumble, and also on BitChute is Black Hot Fire Network on BitChute as well. And that is wonderful. For those that have been supporting the network, thank you so much. Those that have a cash app, and I would love to support. It's Mr. Black Hot Fire on Cash App, and you can also go visit the network website. It's blackhotfirenetwork.com, and you can also download the app for free, Black Hot Fire Network app on Google Play Store, and you can also find it. Actually on Google Play Store, you'll find it there, and you can catch up with all the latest shows that have been going on, and you can just see what's going on, and you can also get to interact with the rest of the family on there. Any question? We do say ask a question. Ask a question. That is uliza swali. Uliza swali, so that we can also be on the same page. Uliza swali, so that we can also be on the same page. Ask a question kindly. Kindly ask a question. Ask any question regarding what we just mentioned. You can ask how old is the language. It's very old. You can ask about you can ask anything. Feel free to ask anything regarding some of these things that you mentioned. And nitakupa jibu. Jibu is a solution. Jibu is an answer. Jibu is an answer. So I will give you an answer. If you do get to ask any question, I will be more than glad to. Now, the point is that the thing is, when you do tell people to ask a question in class, and no one asks a question, it means that you have understood nothing, but you have been floating the whole time, or you have understood everything with a great apprehension, so that you're okay. Uko sawa. If you say uko sawa, sawa is okay, sawa is okay, and if you say uko sawa, sawa is okay. If you say uko sawa, niko sawa, niko sawa, it means I am okay, I am okay. So if you are okay, then it's still fine, it's still good, because I would know that now you're getting something, or you're catching on, and you're able to understand and comprehend. Swahili is not difficult. There are 5 vowels: a, e, o, u, and these are the alphabets of the English, the letters of the English alphabet. A, the English letter A, the English letter E, the English letter O, the English letter I, and the English letter U. A, E, O, U. And we have given examples, because every Swahili word, and even the phrases, every Swahili word constitutes alternating syllables with alternating vowel sounds. Syllables with alternating vowel sounds. And yesterday I also did say that in Swahili we do not have the letter X or the letter Q in Swahili. So any word with the letter Q is not a Swahili word. Any word with the letter X is not a Swahili word. And those are the main. But we do have words that constitute, or phrases that are made up of syllables with alternating vowel sounds. I gave an example of kitabu, give an example of maybe daraja, or even darasa. Daraja means a bridge, darasa means a class. Chakula, I gave an example of chakula, which means food. If you say nataka chakula, if you say ninanja, ninanja is I am hungry. Ninanja, which is N-I-N-A, ninanja. If you say ninanja, it means I'm hungry. And someone will ask you, je, ungependa chakula? Je, ungependa chakula? Je, ungependa chakula? Which is, would you love to have some food? Would you love to have some food? Je, ungependa chakula? Would you love to have some food? And then if you're responding in the affirmative, in the positive, you just say yes, ndio. Ndio, ningependa kula chakula. Ndio, it means yes. Ningependa kula chakula sasa. If you do say sasa, it means now. Ningependa kula chakula sasa. I would love to have some food right now, or right now, because I'm hungry. And you might say, je, utakula nini? They might ask, what would you like to eat? Je, ungependa kula nini? What would you love to eat? Then you say, pengine mchele. Maybe, pengine means pengine. Pengine means maybe. Pengine. Pengine means maybe. Maybe. So you might say, pengine mchele kidogo. Pengine mchele kidogo. Pengine. Let's say pengine mchele kidogo. Pengine mchele kidogo. Which is maybe some rice. I will have maybe some rice. Maybe some rice. Maybe some rice. Maybe some rice. That is how you do say ndio, pengine mchele kidogo. Ndio, you will say yes. Ndio, pengine mchele kidogo. Pengine mchele kidogo. Ndio, pengine mchele kidogo. That is how you say yes, I would love to have maybe a little bit of rice. There are so many types of foods, especially right here in the African continent. If you go to Nigeria, you can enjoy some jollof rice. It's very popular, I believe, in Ghana. And is it in Ghana as well? I believe in Ghana as well. If you come to Kenya, you can have mokimo. Mokimo is also another wonderful dish. Let me just show you how mokimo looks like. And mokimo dish, this is also another wonderful dish. If someone asks you what you will have, and you just want to have some mokimo, you can also get to share a request for this. There are some people that are excellent at preparing this. Yes, these are some mokimo dish. If you have some mokimo beef, then this is quite something. Mukimo beef, mukimo and some beef. This is something. This is served like this, authentic Kenyan mukimo beef with stew. And you will be full. You will actually be very, very full. But say pengine mukimo kidogo, pengine mukimo kidogo. And if you're talking about beef or any kind of a meat, you'd actually say nyama. You actually say nyama kidogo. Nyama is for meat. If you're not a vegetarian and I want to have some meat, you must say nyama kidogo. Nyama kidogo. Kidogo is for a few, a little. Kidogo is for a few. A few. And kidogo is for a few. So you say nyama kidogo. Ninataka kula nyama kidogo. I want to eat some a few. I want to eat some meat. A little bit of some meat. But if you say mingi, M-I, this is for a lot. If you say chakula mingi, that's a whole lot of food. Chakula mingi. Ninataka chakula mingi. I just want a lot of food. Ninataka chakula mingi. It means I just want a lot of food. That is how you do say it. Jollof rice is most West African countries, right? From Senegal on down. Okay. Yeah, it's Senegal, Ghana, Senegal, Ghana, maybe, I don't know if Burkina Faso has it. Burkina Faso is now, people have been talking about this new president, or not president, but the military leader, or the leader of Burkina Faso. He's known as, I think it's Ibrahim Traore, if I pronounce the name right. And, it's a new dawn for Burkina Faso. I'm not sure. I don't want to be super optimistic about Burkina Faso and what is going on. And, them shaking off France, or the French, asking the army to leave and, want to do their own thing now, independent of France. But we have to see. But I would imagine in Burkina Faso, they also do have a jollof. I would imagine that it's also there. Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Senegal, maybe Bissau, and these are the countries. Yes, if you wanted to enjoy that, you would say ninataka ningependa kula jollof, which is I would like to eat some jollof. And you might say ninataka jollof mingi. If you say mingi, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Guinea, Cameroon, Gabon, and so much more. Yes, I think that is where they enjoy these jollof. And maybe perhaps this year, I'll add another resolution onto my resolutions. I will try visit a West African restaurant this year. I've not been to a West African restaurant. There are so many in Nairobi. But for curiosity's sake, and for the sake of jollof, this year, I'm going to visit one of these Nigerian restaurants. There's so many of them around Nairobi, and enjoy some West African dish. See how good these people get to do their dishes. That would be quite interesting. Togo, what happens in Togo? No one knows about Togo. It seems like Togo. What happens in Togo? When you did the 54 correspondence for like a whole year, you would barely have content from Togo. You don't know what's going on in Togo. But as you proceed, for the sake of countries that are not represented so well, let me share one more video. As you figure, if you do have a question, a Swahili question, let me share this one video. Of another place which is interesting and rather not interesting. It's interesting and boring at the same time. This is a small clip as we proceed. I like to share some of these random clips as we proceed. And there's this particular one I came across. And this is for Eritrea. If someone is telling you about Eritrea, you might wonder to yourself, what happens in Eritrea, or what goes on in Eritrea? But let me share this clip, and then we shall continue with whatever questions that you might ask. So let me share this small clip about Eritrea. Kid is talking about Togo. No one remembers Togo. No one knows what goes on in Togo. And also another country here, which is Eritrea. You do not know what goes on in Eritrea because I don't know, but this is why. Maybe this is why.
It's called the North Korea of Africa.
Most of the time now, we have to call each other or we have to email for any business deal. No internet, no distraction.
No comparing each other on
Instagram. No social pressure.
What's the name of the currency?
The name of the currency is Nakfa.
Nakfa?
Yes.
If you want to pay by credit card, you can?
You can't.
Why?
We haven't introduced credit card yet.
ATM.
So they haven't introduced credit cards in Eritrea yet. I think they are waiting. I don't know what they are waiting for, but
No ATM. Everything's cash.
everything is cash in Eritrea. And also, when it comes to the internet, you not really find people on Instagram or on YouTube or anywhere.
So what's the story of Eritrea? This is a country that witnessed ancient civilizations, Italian colonization, and decades-long liberation wars, until it reached what it is today. Every citizen is required to serve in the military for an indefinite period. Traveling abroad requires a special permit that you present at the airport before departure.
If you guys like don't have WhatsApp, how you guys meet?
So in Asmara, if you are bored, then you can go to any cafe and sit with anyone and start conversation. So text or call.
No WhatsApp.
No WhatsApp. No WhatsApp.
ChatGPT.
No ChatGPT. It's like the 90s. We always contact each other.
Actually, if you want to go back to the 90s, just go and visit Eritrea. And you will be back in the 90s. You will be back in the 90s. If you try to have time travel, want to go back to the 90s. No ATMs, no WhatsApp, no Instagram, no ChatGPT, no nothing. Just go to Eritrea. You'll be safe. You'll be good there. And no social pressures, no pressures are from Instagram or anything. You're just there. But anyway, you're saying I remember. I know these mixed Eritrean and niggas are racist shit and they are poor ass shit too. That is the way life is. But anyhow, I bet I'm not sure whether we do have Swahili speakers in Eritrea. I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't find any Swahili speakers in Eritrea. I wouldn't be much surprised. I think that there might be there, or there might not be any Swahili speakers. I do not know. But maybe shit is not in the shit is not the 90s Stone Age. Yeah, that's the Stone Age. Ajiba Jaba, how are you doing? How is your Sunday coming up? You're saying a hi to you too. And even yesterday, I think you were with us, but I think you had to go to work or rush somewhere. But I also thank you for checking in and just joining us with this Swahili class. So I was just saying, when you're talking about food or requesting for some food, it's very easy. You might say nataka chakula, and chakula is food. And I was saying there are so many, there's a diversity of types of food that you can enjoy on the continent. I've shared with you a mokimo. You can have, jollof. You can have fish, have tilapia and something you can eat. There are whole lots of things that you can eat. Even if you go to the Congo, you can even eat some bat. You can eat some bat meat in the Congo or things like that. But you do say ninataka chakula, which is I want some food. And you might also say nimeshiba sana, asanti, which is I am very full. Nimeshiba sana, asanti, I am very full, thanks. Or you might say pengine nitakula baadaye, which is maybe I will eat later. Pengine nitakula baadaye, because pengine is maybe, pengine nitakula baadaye, which is maybe I'll eat later. You will enjoy it. I ain't eating bad nowhere. You will actually enjoy it. If you go to the Congo, there is this channel. What do they call it? There is this channel. I don't think they are even Congolese. They are from Congo. And they are from Zimbabwe. There's this channel called the Hozambe. Called Hozambe. No, what do you call this channel? There's these wilderness people. What do you call them? Is it Hozambe? Wilderness people. What's their name? I'm trying to remember. What's their name? I think they're from Zimbabwe. Those people will also eat almost anything. Zimbabwe. I wish I could find that channel. I think I'm just forgetting the name. What is it called? Actually, I forgot the name. I forgot about the name of those particular people. But they will also enjoy almost anything they get their hands on. And that is how it is. But you say now you can use that example, pengine nitakula baadaye, because kula is eat. And a drink is a kunywa. I think I said that yesterday. I taught us that yesterday. Kunywa is a kunywa is for drink. So you can say ninataka kunywa maji. Ninataka is I want. Ninataka kunywa maji. Ninataka kunywa maji. So, but if you wanted to have some milk, you might say ninataka kunywa maziwa. Kunywa maziwa. Maziwa is for milk. Kunywa maziwa. And if you talk about kidogo, kunywa maziwa kidogo, if you add kidogo at the end of that particular sentence, it means that you want just a bit. So you might say ninataka kunywa maziwa kidogo. Ninataka kunywa maziwa kidogo. So do not forget that kidogo is for a small amount and mingi is for a lot. Ninataka kunywa maziwa mingi, M-I-N-G-I, maziwa mingi, it means that you want more, a lot of milk. You talk about maji mingi, anything that when you use mingi as a prefix, as a suffix, after that particular word, it means that you're describing a plenty amount of it, a whole lot of whatever you're describing. Maji mingi, maziwa mingi, chakula mingi. What else? Matunda mingi. Matunda is fruits. We have talked about matunda. Matunda mingi, and things like that. If you put mingi at the end of that particular one, then it means that you want a whole lot of that, a whole lot of what you just described. If you have a question up to this particular point, please feel free to ask. If you do have a question, feel free to ask. If you have a question, karibu sana, kindly just ask. I was wondering, Lydia, if Lydia is still with us. I think she disappeared. She disappeared, but I was just saying that in case you would like to also join us on the link I just shared, you can also feel free to jump on board and also get to ask a question directly or inquire anything directly if you wanted to ask. These are the images of that traditional. It's not traditional really. It's just it's not really traditional urban, but this is mokimo, and you have mokimo with beef. This is quite a word. This is quite a word. It's actually maize, or corn, and beans, and then there's potatoes, and then apart from the potatoes, you also mash it into now this mokimo, and you also put some greens, and then it becomes this, and then of course you'll prepare a beef stew on the side, and you can enjoy these in many different establishments. If you go to a restaurant in Nairobi and say that you wanted to have some mokimo, and say ninataka kula mokimo, then they will serve you just that. Ninataka kula mokimo, they'll serve you just that, and you'll enjoy mokimo na beef or mokimo beef. Then they will serve you just that. On the network we used to say ugali beef or ugali and chicken, but this is also something different that the family can also get to try as if you tour any. I think there are also some restaurants, Kenyan, East African restaurants in places such as Washington, the DMV. You'll find if you go to Virginia, I think you'll find some in Minneapolis and Minnesota. You'll find some restaurants owned by Kenyans. You can also check that out and also try your Swahili there. That would be quite impressive. If you not have an opportunity to travel and flaunt your Swahili anywhere, you can flaunt it at your local East African restaurants, even in the US. So we're almost winding up. Please, if you do have a question, uliza swali. Ask a question. If you do have a question, ask a question. If you do have a question regarding anything Swahili, you can ask a question. Before we go into the names of our places, these are nouns, but we shall get to specialize on nouns a little bit later. But we shall be talking about nouns in Swahili. I've already introduced some of the nouns, the names of our places. I'm talking about home. I did say it's nyumbani. I talked about the market. It's called soko. If you're talking about the forest, we do say msitu. If you're talking about the city, you do say mji or jiji. If we're talking about the village, it's smaller version of a city, it's kijiji. If you go into a place such as the shops, convenience store, you do say duka, duka. And we do have other different examples of common places that we do get to mention on a day-to-day basis when we're talking about where you can be at. You can be at the shop, you can be at your house, you can be at the school, shule, you can be at the market, soko. So if you say ninaenda, I am going to, ninaenda. Enda is go. Ninaenda. Ninaenda sokoni. You might say shuleni. You might say mjini. You might say nyumbani. Nyumbani. You might say kazini. Kazini. Kazi is work. Kazi is work. So, but if you say ninaenda kazini, it means that you're going to work. You're going to work. Naenda kazini. You might say mtoni. And these are just examples of places that you can be talking about. And this is soko. Soko is for the market. Shule is for school. Mjini is to the city. Nyumbani is for home. Kazi is work, but if you're talking about at work, that is kazini. If you're talking about the river, that is mto, but you might say mtoni. Ninaenda mtoni. Or you might say njoo tuende mtoni. Njoo tuende mtoni. That is come over, let's go to the river. Come over, let's go to work. Njoo tuende kazini. That is come, let's go to work. Njoo is come. Njoo means come. So if someone says njoo hapa, it means come here. Njoo hapa. Njoo hapa is come here. Come here. If someone says nenda pale, or enda pale, it's go there. If someone says njoo hapa haraka, it simply means come over here quickly. Njoo hapa haraka. So we have said that haraka is for quickly. Pole or pole is for slowly. Njoo hapa pole. That means come over here slowly. That is simply how you get to say it. And if someone is talking about njoo kwangu, come to my place. Kwangu is my place. Kwangu is my place. Njoo kwangu means come over to my place. And if you say njoo kwangu kesho, it means come to my place tomorrow. So kesho is for tomorrow. Kesho means tomorrow. But if they say njoo kwangu leo, Leo is for today. Leo is for today. Leo is, for example, like you say Leo, but this is Leo. Leo is today. So if someone says njoo kwangu, kuja kwangu, or kuja or njoo kwangu leo, it means come over to my place today. If we said tunaenda darasani leo, it means we are going to class today, leo. So that is, it shows like when we are going to school, or when we are actually shows when. So for today, it's leo. For tomorrow, it's kesho. For yesterday, we do say jana. Jana is for yesterday. And if you say jana nilikula chakula, it means yesterday I ate some food. Or jana nilikunywa maji, it means yesterday I drank a whole lot of water, or something like that. That is how you do get to say it. So in case you do have a question, please go and ask. Yeah, those are Kenya restaurants all over the DMV area, and in Ethiopian as well. Yes, I have also not had an opportunity to go to an Ethiopian joint. I know some. I think they are not even very, very far. But I've never had really just the interest of just popping in and finding out what's going on and what they're cooking and what they're not. But I know they do have what they call the Ethiopians. What do they call it? Injera. They call it injera. Injera. That is what they call. And I think injera is just like a version of chapati, because in chapati, it's like I don't think it's very, very different. I think it's only how they prepare it. But yes, a West African restaurant, I'll check that out very, very soon. And also an Ethiopian one. I don't think there is any much difference. But anyhow, it's not. It's worthy also just getting to feed that curiosity and see what's good with the people. We shall be winding up there with our class for Swahili. Unless you do have questions, please ask any question. Uliza swali tafadhali. Tafadhali is for please. Ask any question. Uliza swali tafadhali. Uliza swali tafadhali. Uliza swali tafadhali. Ask a question, please. Uliza swali tafadhali. Ask a question, please, and I'll be more than glad to respond to you. Any question regarding what we just mentioned and some of these things. They're not difficult. Learning a new language is exciting. And I happen to figure that some people are very, very talented in understanding and just learning new languages. They don't even take a whole lot of time. They just get and it just they soak it in. And people are talented differently. But even learning a new language, when you're in your older age, it might be a challenge because the way the brain is wired, when you're older, it becomes maybe a bit difficult to learn. But I would urge you, for your kids and for your grandkids, spark that interest in them. Spark that interest in them to also learn Swahili, The kids, when it comes to like their curiosity and everything, very much easier for them. But nonetheless, even at whatsoever point you decide to learn something new, whether you're 60, whether you're 70, whether you're 50, whether you're 40, whether you're 30, whether you're 20, it's a curiosity that counts and the interest that counts. You might say, oh, why would I waste my time learning Swahili? I'm at 75, while I'm, this and that. Still a good thing. But nonetheless, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the stream for today. And we shall carry on next week on Saturday and Sunday around the same time. So just turn on notification. Find us also on Rumble. Also find us on BitChute as well. And these YouTube channel. And also on the official network is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Till next time, much peace and love. I want to say kwaheri. Kwaheri is Swahili for goodbye. And I would say kwaheri ya kuonana, which is a see you later. See you later in our next segment. For now, thank you so much. And also thank Keith. And also thank to all the Black Hot Network family. For those that have kept supporting the network, we value and appreciate your support. It's never taken for granted. Asanteni sana. Till next time, kwaheri. I have a question. If fat baby hits you in the mouth, should you go upside? Yeah, we better learn the language. So it's going to, the way it's going, we might have to leave. Yes, it provides an option. It's an option. And yes, Sister Michelle, and I do appreciate you also for taking the time. And also spark that interest in your family. I don't know if you still have family in Sudan or these are the different parts of the continent or even in the US, wherever they may be at, doesn't matter, but spark that interest in them to just learn Swahili, to just learn the language. And that is what it is. I want to wish you happy and a productive rest of your day. Till next time, much peace and love. Kwaheri.